Hello, and welcome to the Authentically Elisa podcast, Unmasking Your True Self. I'm Elisa Bogarts, your guide on this journey to discovering the most genuine version of yourself. Each episode is a step towards unveiling the incredible power that lies within you as we strip away all the shoulds and shine a light on the coulds. Together, we'll explore the path of self-empowerment, self-confidence, and the courage to be unapologetically you. Thank you for being here. Well, hello. Today you've got me. Can you believe that this is episode 91? I'm a little bit blown away by all of that. Got 100 coming up soon. Wow. When I started this podcast, I really wasn't sure that was going to happen. I really didn't have an idea of where it was going to take me, or the seasons it was going to have, or the type of guests I would have, and how it would evolve, and that I'd be 91 episodes in. That just blows my mind. So thank you for being here, and thank you for listening. And I really hope that you get a lot out of this podcast. So what I want to do today is introduce season 3 of the Authentically Elisa podcast. And it is called Scaling on Your Terms. So this season is going to be focused on what it truly means to grow and scale a business while staying grounded in your values and in your integrity and your authentic self. And this season is designed for established coaches, entrepreneurs, and course creators who want to expand their impact without compromising what matters most. And I think that this is really important because I think that as we scale, and as you know, you get into 6 figures and you get into multi 6 figures and maybe even hit 7 figures or beyond, you need to run your business differently. You need to be a different kind of business owner. When you are sort of starting out and you're getting up to that, hitting 100K, there's usually like a lot of people do a lot of it themselves. They kind of are doing everything. They have all the hats on. And then as they start to grow, they maybe get a VA or, someone to help them with their accounting or whatever it may be. You start to grow however you grow. But once you start actually scaling and you get into 6 figures, multi 6 figures, 7 figures, you can't do that anymore. You need to be more of like the manager. You need to be more of the CEO, and you need to step into that role, and you need to start hiring people to help you and to trust them in which to do it and to kind of let go and have all that really clearly kind of set out. And so therefore you're going to be having different hats and doing different things. And therefore you need to be a different entrepreneur, let's be honest, you do. And which is, totally fine. And but the whole idea is, yes, you need to be a different entrepreneur, but how can you do that while still being your authentic self? I know that some people worry about that, or they worry about, as they make so much money, and their ideas around money and what people think about that kind of stuff. And like some people think that as, rich people are greedy, or people who make this much money, or they never even thought that they would make that much money. So it's like, whoa, like who do I need to be now to be at this level? And so yeah, it's a very interesting time, like as you change and as you grow and scale. And it also, like a 6-figure entrepreneur is very different from a 7-figure entrepreneur. And then there's ups and downs of things and all the different stuff you have to do. And also even understanding, okay, how do I scale? How do I know the capacity of my team? How do I know when I need to bring in someone new and you need to start hiring? And, who do you need as your team and your support system? And what do those people look like? Okay, what kind of people do you like to work with? There's lots of different things that kind of come into play. And so this season, I really want to talk about that, how you can grow and scale. And if you're already there, like this is for established coaches. So you're already making 6 figures for sure, multi 6 figures, or you're an established entrepreneur, course creator. And so I'm going to be bringing people in at that level. And they can talk about things about scaling sustainably while still being in alignment with your values, right? Or having authentic business growth strategies, and even ethical marketing and selling. As you get bigger, maybe you have different things, different programs, you're going to be selling different things, but how can you still do that and still be strong, true to your values, true to your ethics, and even the values of your business? If you really do have values of your business and a mission of your business, and how you can really be a purpose driven leader, right? And make value based decisions as well. Because there's going to be some big decisions you're going to have to make and maybe pivots in your business. And, what happens if the economy goes down and you have to let people go? Like all these types of things and different collaborations, maybe it's not just JV partners that promote you anymore, but now it's strategic alliances. And what does that look like? And so, yeah, I'm going to bring people in to talk about these things about building a business that supports both profit and personal fulfillment, and you can stay authentic to you. And so I'm super excited about this. I think it's going to be totally awesome. Um, and of course, I think that the best way to scale is through launches, especially if you're a coach. I work with coaches, and all of like my clients who are established coaches, they all do launches, and of course that's why they hire me. And I think there's something about that. There's something about having good operations, having like a strategic operations partner who can help you see how to make things more efficient. Like that's another thing I noticed with some of my clients, they still want to do things manually. I'm like, okay, well, if we want to scale and we have all these plans for next year, there's no way that we can do this manually anymore. It's just not going to work. So what technology do we need to bring in? What platforms, what AI tools, what can we do to bring in to help support your team? Or do we need to bring in more team members, and what skills do they need to have? And so having a strategic operations partner, which is also, something that I offer my clients, is looking at all of that and thinking, okay, what do we need in order to scale? And what does that look like? And what do we need to bring in when? And kind of looking at those different milestones and ways to be more efficient. And then setting up your systems in such a way that you can be more efficient, especially if you're doing regular launches throughout the year. If you're doing regular launches and you're sort of having this rinse and repeat system, and you're doing some of the launches on top of each other, because if you, for example, are doing a 3-day event, that's like about 4 to 6 months of planning. And so if you're going to have 3 of those a year, you're going to be kind of working on them sort of on top of each other. And if you're going to have, monthly webinars in between, or you're going to host a summit or things like that. So like putting together that whole kind of plan and realizing that you're going to be working on multiple things at the same time. And how can you do that with your team? Right? Do you have the right people? Do you have the support that you need? What tools do you need? And how can you be more efficient as opposed to just sort of working on one thing at a time? And so, yeah, tons of different ways. And so when I work with my clients, and they hire me, as their fractional project manager to, project manage their launch, the first thing I do with them, I get to call it the keys to success. And we go through and really map out everything about the specific launch. We look at, what team and what support do they need. We look at their target audience, their persona, that avatar. Who is that? Who are we exactly trying to target for this event? Who do you want to work with? Who are those ideal people? What do they like? What are their psychographics? What are their interests? What are their pain points? What are their desires? And then we look at the launch objectives. What is the purpose of this launch? What are you launching? What's the program? What's the event? Like what is the purpose that you want? What are you trying to achieve? And also looking at that vision of it. What's the impact that you want this launch to have, that you want your program to have? Because really being able to remember what that vision is and what your mission is and the purpose of the launch will be something that we can always fall back to, especially when times get a little crazy and we're in full swing of it all. It's always good to have that vision. And then also thinking about the experience. What kind of experience do you want people to have in your program? What kind of experience do you want them to have at your event? And say you're doing like an in-person event, do you want it to be kind of fancy? Do you want it to be casual? Like what does that look like? I'm going, there's a cruise that I go on each year called the Marketers Cruise. And it's like a cruise, like a normal cruise ship that has like thousands of people in it. But there's a group of us, about 400 to 450 people, who are all entrepreneurs and they're part of this Marketers Cruise group. And so for them, their experience is like, this is not a place where we pitch. Like, yes, you meet people and maybe you want to meet people that you want to work with or collaborate with or make strategic alliances, or maybe they'll become your clients, but it's not about that. It's about being with the people and networking and getting to know people and building great relationships. So the experience is quite casual, and it's like just like a very open and safe place to build relationships and have fun. Be on vacation while you're doing it. It's not some fancy sort of like posh event. It's very casual. So thinking about that, what kind of experience do you want them to have? And then we look at your funnel. What is that sort of process that your clients go through? What is the lead magnet to the event, to the program? Do you have a high ticket? Do you have an upsell? Do you have a downsell? What does that look like? And then we get into the program itself. So we get all the details of the program and we set some dates. When is it going to start? We got to know what that is for sure. And also looking at, the bonuses that you want to offer at your event when you're selling this program. Like, what does that look like? And when will things be available? And who will they be available to? Are they fast action takers? And only people who, sign up during the event get that bonus. So looking at all those different details and the prices of it, all of it, we look at it all in detail and map it out. And the beauty of it is that we have a date so that we can start planning. But before we start planning, then we look at the details of your event. What's it all about? What's it called? What are the benefits of people coming to it? Is it virtual? Is it in person? What are the dates of that? So usually those are kind of based on the dates of when your program starts as well. And that difference between the event happening and the program happening, that length of time can be any length of time. I wouldn't say more than a month, but I've seen all different kinds. And at that event, are you going to have speakers? Are you going to have sponsors? What's the ticket prices? All these kinds of things. We detail out absolutely everything. Then we look at your joint venture partners, your strategic alliances, your affiliates. How many of those do you want? How many people are you looking to help support you? And, so therefore, how many people do you want to ask to support you? What commissions do you plan to pay them? What does that look like? Do they get to come for free? All this kind of fun stuff. And then we even look at speaking gigs as well. So speaking is a great way to promote your event and to promote yourself and get more visible. So, how many events do you want to do? How many lives do you want to do? All these kinds of stuff. So we have these sort of targets in place. And then we even look at even deeper into your targets. So we start looking at your sales revenue. Again, how many speakers you want, how many speaking gigs you want, how many GV partners, how many people you want in your program, and what do all those conversion numbers look like? Now, I know I just said a whole big mouthful, which brings me to a point of something I really like to sit down with my clients and do, because now that we have the date set, I can talk to them about how their workload is going to increase a lot, because there's a lot of things that need to get done. So you really need to make room in their schedule for this increase in workload. And we need to think about who can be doing what can we take off their plate, what is not a priority during this launch, and get them really to look at their calendar and see what they can say no to, what they can remove from their calendar. Does it, maybe they're in a program or they do a mastermind or something like that, and so does this conflict with whatever they're actually doing now? And therefore, it may not be great to be at a super busy time to also be, in the middle of some program or doing an exam or whatever it may be. So yes, and then we actually look at their calendar and get them to really block off time that are launched, that are like scheduled, and like these are sacred times for their launch specific tasks. And then yeah, so that people cannot book in that time, so all these things, we actually have it in their calendar. Then we look at the budget. We look at all the expenses and list all of them out. And some of the expenses include that commission to be paid to your JVs, the online tools that you're using, like Zoom, for example. If you want to have a big event, you need to upgrade your Zoom. Are you going to use Zoom webinar? Do you need to have a bigger room for it? And what about all your hired help for any event? I actually think that you need to have 4 people minimum. If you're doing a 3-day event, I think you need to have a project manager. I think you need to have a tech person, like someone who can set up all your tech for you. I think you need to have a producer for your event. So someone who is that kind of like that support person or tech support person at your event that can do all the, spotlighting and dropping of links and handing out of worksheets and that kind of stuff. And you also need a sales coach. So those are the four um, people, people that I think that you need to hire for any big event you do, for any big launch that you do. So that's a project manager, your tech person to set up all your tech, the producer of your event itself, and then the sales coach. So after we look at all the expenses, then we look at the revenue. Like, what is your estimated revenue? What are all the different sources of that revenue? You could have different ticket types. Maybe you have sponsors. Maybe people pay you to speak. What are the different types of revenue that are coming in? So once we have all your keys to success, we know exactly where we're marching to. We know exactly the dates that we're marching to. We know exactly what the focus is, the vision, all of it. And we know our budget. Now we can start planning things. And the first thing with the plan I'd like to do is about the speaking gigs, right? We talked about the speaking opportunities. It's a great way to be visual. And so if they want to have, say, like 10 different speaking things, well, we got to go find them. And like sometimes you want to book them in advance. I know that there are some big summits out there if you want to speak on one and they're full, their speaking spots are full 6 months out or 3 months out. So you want to get on those schedules as soon as possible and start looking at those types of things. And also, maybe you have like a fellow coach, a JV partner who's doing an event and you want to be one of the speakers at their event. And that'll likely be a paid thing. We have to pay to play. And then you can sell tickets there to your event. So you want to start having those conversations and reaching out to people and getting all that booked in because you want to do it strategically so that based on which speaking gig and when it is, whether that's within your promotional period of your event where you can maybe sell a ticket or invite them to like your free workshop, which then you sell tickets to. Or if it's just something like, it's a little bit earlier. So you just want to use the speaking to get people into your world by, giving your lead magnet or something like that. Then you want to start engaging your joint venture partners, your affiliates, and get them secured in. Because again, if you're working with if some of your buddies out there who are going to help you promote, or might be big players, their JV calendar could fill up. So you want to make sure that you can get on their promotional calendar, and you need lots of time to do that. So get on there and get their commitment of when they're going to, email for you and all that kind of stuff. Then I talk to them about their lead magnet and about growing their reach. How do they want to grow your reach? Because you do have your current tribe, right? The current people that are in your world and they love you and that are you on your email list, opening your emails, followers on social media, what have in your groups, in your communities. But we want to grow that because a lot of those people maybe are already existing clients. They took the program that you're selling already, or maybe they're just not really interested, or maybe they will become someone. So you do have your list, and that definitely is a resource. But we also want to bring more people in and introduce them into your world, take them through your funnel, and do that whole journey, that whole process to eventually getting them um, to sign up to your program. So a lead magnet is a great way to do that, to get more people into your world. So you can, of course, maybe join gift giveaways. You can do speaking opportunities. You can promote it to your list. You can promote it on social media. Lots of different ways to get people into your world. And then I like to talk to them about nurturing their list. So then now we put together an entire marketing content calendar for that 4 to 6 months. Like the whole thing, we can put it together and kind of look at it because the beginning, you want to start nurturing your list and you want to just give them value, give them love, and also like figure out where you're going to do that based on if you're also promoting your own JV partners. If you're promoting their events, you want to like get all that calendar in to make sure that there's no conflict of interest and that things aren't doubling up. And that because you don't want to be promoting someone else's event when you're promoting your own event, or maybe you could, but maybe only do one email or something like that. So we put together the whole marketing content calendar. And it does start with nurturing a list because you want to give them value. You want to be talking about your the topic of your event, the topic of your program, and showing what an expert you are so that when your program happens, boom, they get it. They see the event and they're like, oh, this is a natural next step. I'm going to sign up for the event. I'm going to buy my ticket. And then the marketing content calendar also has all of the promotional emails and everything that you're going to be doing for promoting your own event and your program, and also reminder emails and things like that. So put together an entire marketing content. And then we start to recruit. If you're going to have speakers at your event or you want to have sponsors, start recruiting them, reaching out to those people. We already talked about reaching out to JVs. Um, and then we're going to start building the event and selling tickets. And you want to start selling sick tickets. Like, it's good to do about 60 days out. I know some people do a bit earlier, but you definitely want to be selling the tickets. Like, I think the 60 days is probably a good starting point. You can have less time than that. You can have more time. So yeah, start building out the event and start selling the tickets. And by building out the event, I mean, like, we already have all the information and the dates. Let's get those websites created, those landing pages. Let's make it so that people can buy tickets and then start selling. And then looking at your program, I mean, most of the coaches I already work with, their program is set, or they've even done an event before. So it just needs little tweaks, little changes in the copy. Maybe there's different bonuses that are being offered. So kind of creating all of that and getting that all set up. And then also the onboarding process, because this can be a little bit complicated, especially with different bonuses, like who's getting what do they need to be invited to? What does that onboarding process look? And also making tweaks to the onboarding process as well. If when the last time you launched, the onboarding process maybe didn't go as smoothly, we can look at different things to make that more operationally efficient. So that's the huge giant plan that we start working towards. And then now we're starting to march towards the events. You're in full swing of marketing. You're promoting it, you're speaking, your JVs are promoting it. So now let's actually create the PAG, as they call it, a PAG, a run of show, order of operations, or program at a glance is, all the different words for what this is. But basically, it's putting together like the entire schedule of the event. And this is very, very detailed. I worked with a client and she did her PAG like the day before it started. I was like, oh, kind of want to have that a little bit farther in advance. I would definitely suggest creating it further in advance. And this is like the details. So like the first 20 minutes, we're going to do this, and then we're going to play this music, and then we're going to spotlight this person, and then we're going to talk about this, and then we're going to put them in breakout rooms about this size, and they're going to do this activity, and therefore they need this handout. All of the details. And this is what, you can work with your producer on. And you want to share this with your team as well so that everybody knows what's happening when and where they need to be, what they need to be doing. And I find that as when you put together this very detailed schedule of your event, this is kind of where things come up and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that you were doing that. Like maybe we need to, or a new bonus idea comes up. Like, okay, now we need to go set up the bonus. And so there's a lot of sort of coordination that can happen. And then you have the event itself. So say if you're doing a 1-day event, a 3-day event, this is where your project manager really shines. Like if you have a good one, they coordinate everything, so they have been coordinating up until this point, all of those details, that whole plan, who's doing what, all the tech setup, the JVs, all like everything. They've been coordinating all of that. But during the actual event, you want to help them help you as well. So you do have your event producer, but that person is busy, spotlighting, doing the event, like what happens, like backup plans, like what if your internet goes out, all these kinds of things. Like they're focused on that. Whereas the project manager can come in and, there's coordination around the attendees, updating attendee tracker, who's late, who's not late, do we need to send them extra emails, coordinating your sales coaches, um, coordinating even the producer. And what if you have like a concierge, like you have someone who's in that if you want people to check into your event, you're going to have a concierge there. Maybe they're also there, a concierge for all the sales coaches, if you have a separate Zoom room for that. Coordinating the speakers. Are they showing up? Are they there? They're about to come on. We want them to be there early. And even coordinating your JVs as well. So there's a lot that can be coordinated. So this is really where a project manager shines. And so as your event is happening and everything I just described, you really want to have a supportive team around you. So people that are there, because when you come to your event, you just want to shine. You want to be you at your event. You don't want to show up burnt out. This is why the team is helpful. You want to show up as you and delivering your best content and giving tons of value and connecting with all the people who bought tickets and showed up. And if something goes wrong, you want to have your team there to support you, or if I was in an event with a client and she had like a battery pack with a microphone, so her sound was amazing, but then the battery pack died. So she actually had someone physically there with her at her house where she was in sort of the studio. The support person was in another room, and she was able to come in and like, here's your battery pack, and they changed it, or even just having someone there to remind you to change your battery pack. And her internet went down, and so it was just great to have a supportive team around you right then and there, so that you can still be grounded, as being the best coach possible or entrepreneur for your event, and still deliver amazing value to your people. And then, of course, as the event, like, the fortune is in the follow-up, as they say. So, you really want to be doing that. And luckily you have your sales coaches, but also you might want to be doing follow-up as well. There's definitely follow-up emails that are already in your marketing content calendar. But yeah, it's definitely what event the fortune is in follow-up. And then you have your program, right? So after your event, your program starts whenever the dates that you decided, and you can really show up and be amazing to them and deliver the amazing, content that you have of your program, whatever it may be. Um, and yeah, that's just so super exciting, which is kind of like, the point of all of that is to deliver whatever it is and help the people that you want to help in that program. And now I always recommend doing a retrospective after your event. So, you're doing the follow-up, you're looking at things, but you also want to actually have the team all come together and do a retrospective. And with a client of mine, we kind of do two. He has like a smaller team, so we're like a team of four. And so him and I will, because I'm like his strategic operations partner, I'm his fractional project manager. So we'll go together and we'll look at things and be like, okay, what do we think we need to improve? We'll get all the numbers, we'll do analysis, we'll look at that kind of stuff. And then we do a second one with the bigger team and get from their perspective what there was. And then we also share certain things with them. Some of the teams, they don't need to know all the numbers necessarily. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Totally up to you. You can just do one with your entire team as well. That's also totally fine. But in this retrospective, look at what went well, what you want to continue doing, what was totally awesome that we must have next time, what can be improved, what tweaks can we make, what, at the event, look at what landed, what went really well, what did people lean into, where were you getting the most engagement in the chat? And this is what you want your producer during the event to be looking at. Who's engaging, what's working really well, who is confused, what questions did they get? So if people were confused by something, then maybe, you can tweak the presentation a little bit to make it a bit more clear. And then look at the action. So set down a clear action plan as to who's tweaking what, who's doing what to make it even better for next time. And I know, even during the event, you can do mini retrospectives of what you want to, improve for the next day. And you can write things down and then do the wider retrospective at the end of it. And then you start all over again. And the beauty of this, and especially having like a strategic operations partner, fractional project manager, is to implement a process that is rinse and repeatable. So you already have the landing pages set up. You just need to change the dates, maybe tweak the copy a little bit. You already have your presentation for the event. You already have your PAG. Like, how can we make it different? Does the order need to change? Things like that. But the foundation is already set. And then you can just rinse and repeat it and even have the same team members do it over and over and over again. And you can become more and more efficient as you do it. And of course, like the industry is changing, the economy is changing, people are interested in different things. So there's always going to be tweaks and changes. But as long as you have that solid foundation, it's much easier to rinse and repeat it. And like I said, if this is a 4 to 6 month thing, and you say you want to do 3 a year, you really want to have that rinse. And basically, like as soon as you do the event and your program starts, you're starting to plan the next one, right? It's going to be in 4 months time. And so you got to get going already, or maybe you already even had, if it's less than 4 months, you've already started thinking about what you're doing for next time. So, um, yeah, that is everything. That is what I think really helps people scale, is having a great team with you, tweaking things as you go, having a rinse and repeatable process, and launching constantly. Launching, and doing events. And that's really how they scale. If you look at all of the people who are, if you look at all the coaches who are multi 6 figures, 7 figures, even multi 7 figures, like they are launching. They do it all the time. They're doing these big events and they're launching high ticket programs. And they're giving tons and tons and tons of value. So this is definitely the way to scale. And of course, it's what I do. It's what I help. I help you with that team. And it can even supply the team for you. Because definitely we offer a done for you process for, setting up all of your tech for you. I work with you as your partner throughout the launch, and we work as a team to really get everything done so that you can be successful. So that was me. But if you're interested in launching and learning more about what a project manager does, I would love to have a conversation with you. I love talking to coaches and learning all about them and their passions and their mission and what it is that they're launching, and seeing if it would be a good fit, if I can help you out with it. I would absolutely love that. So there is a link in the show notes to book a call with me, and you can always go to my website, launchpartnerpro.com. And right there at the top, there's a button to book a call with me, and we can talk about your launch. And again, that's launchpartnerpro.com. Or find the link in the show notes and book a call with me. So that is it for today. Welcome to season 3. This is what we're going to be talking about, not just about launching, but we're going to be talking about all of these different ways that you can scale and still be authentic to yourself. And that's the one thing I love about launches is that it is you delivering your content. And as you scale, you have this team, and you bring in these team members to support you and let them do what they're great at so that you can truly shine in what is important to you. And then that really allows you to stay in alignment with your values and your purpose for making this world a better place. All right. Until next time. Bye. See you later. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope it inspired you to live a more authentic life. I'd love your help in inspiring more people to live authentically. So please follow, rate, and leave a review so we can create a ripple effect of authenticity. Until next time, stay true to you, be bold, and thrive on your own terms. This is Elisa, signing off authentically.